Alright, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off first and foremost by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Baruch Dash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutations to those that are doing this work in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Nathan Yala from GMS Camp Atlanta. Coming back into the spirit with another lesson, and I pray and hope this lesson is edifying. Now, in this lesson, we're going into what they are talking about, these festivals, 2020, these music festivals 2025. In the case you haven't heard of the music festivals 2025, it's basically a stream of protests happening throughout the U.S. Big protests that are not being publicized allegedly. Now, when you look at this is basically the beginning of the people turning against the government for the oppression that the government is putting down on the people. All right, and as we get closer to the full implementation of the mark of the beast, which we're getting closer to it. Kenya is one nation, which I'm gonna do a video about that later. As a matter of fact, let me find it real quick. All right, so as I was saying, as we get closer and closer to the microchip, the RFID microchip being fully implemented throughout the whole entire earth, you're seeing more and more of these uproars, which are the prophecies spoke about in the Holy Scriptures. Okay, so these uproars are happening all across the earth, right? So here is as a matter of fact. So I'm going to go to the book of Matthew. Matthew 24. And this reads, it says, for there shall be, for this is Matthew 24 and, I think it's 24 and 6. Yeah, here it is. Matthew 24 and 6, and it says, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and shall deceive many. And you have those that are saying that they are the Christ, or these different camps and organizations that are saying they're representation of, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shai. All right. And it says, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. We're seeing earthquakes all over the earth. We have earthquakes in Moscow. We've been having earthquakes in Hawaii. We've been having earthquakes in places in the U.S. that we've never had earthquakes before. We had an earthquake in Georgia not too long ago, And it says, and these are the beginning of sorrows, okay? And it says, and they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all the nations for my name's sake, okay? So, I'm just continue on. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. And we're seeing all that. We're seeing the false prophets like my man Alazar, getting pegged by his woman, and he trying to backpedal, and all these other organizations that are telling you that the MOTB is not the microchip that they are clearly pushing. It is fucking clear that the MOTB is the microchip, and they are pushing this digital agenda. And you have these other camps saying that this is not what it is, okay? And it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, but he that endured to the end shall be saved, okay? So because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. You're seeing people kill each other left and right. That is why I was just reading an article just now where a New Jersey man, he was a state trooper, he just killed his ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, and then killed himself. Okay, so these things are happening in great volume. But there's one more precept I wanted to get before I moved on to the video. All right, so I'm gonna go from here The second Ezra, the 9th chapter. Second Ezra 9. And it says, he answered me then and said, measure the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt well understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before, even from the beginning. Okay? So what you're about to see is you're about to see uproars in many different states, and they're naming it music festivals. Okay? So we're gonna come back to that in just a second. But before that, let's go to Slovakia. All right, so then that's one. That's in Los Angeles. Okay. This is still LA, and then there's one in Denver, I believe, too. So then you can just type in, here's this lady here.
At the Federal ICE Detention Center in LA for 2.5 weeks. Of course you haven't, because it's suppressed as fuck. Hashtags are getting removed, videos are getting removed, lives are getting banned, accounts are getting banned. My account was banned yesterday after going viral twice talking about LA. We have had over 30 communities of LA Music Festival party goers that have been standing up to ice sculptures. In Compton, we had a group of Black Kings that jumped an ice sculpture, and let's just say it wasn't a record.
Now, it's crazy because remember how, the men of the Lord, we used to have to encode our words to get the message out. And now you see how the people follow what we do and don't even know that they're doing that shit. We remember years back when Esau was banning and taking down all of our videos, how we had to get clever with how we spoke to deceive the algorithm so they wouldn't take our videos down. Well, now the regular public is doing that shit. I just wanted to mention that.
In Bell Gardens, there was a community of music festival goers that quickly came together and chased out an ice sculpture. And then in LA, we had a festival goer that went up to an ice sculpture and squirted it with its super soaker. In fact, people from all fucking backgrounds are coming together. I've even seen people with keffiyehs on at everybody's standing in solidarity and standing against these ice sculptures. California specifically.
Nah, of course you know what the code word is when she's saying ice sculpture. If you don't know, then I don't know what's going on with you. Just take the sculpture part off. You know exactly who she's talking about. All right, so here I'm gonna play a couple more. Hold up, I got internet. So they have one in
stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
All right, so they all coming up with this. Man, listen, man, America's through, man. Okay, y'all dumbass people out there thinking that y'all protesting all. No. All these things are happening because the prophecies in the scriptures are coming to pass, and this place is about to be destroyed wholeheartedly. Okay, so let's grab some more precepts, man. Yeah, you're always trying to come up with some clever ass. Oh yeah, if these little ants stand up, they're all gonna stand up. Some old Pixar movie shit. No, it ain't gonna work like that, man. Okay. Y'all gonna stand up and get smashed down. That's what's about to happen. All right, so I'm gonna start at and we bring this out all the time, but I'm gonna bring it out again. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand and fight against another with swords in their hands." Okay, and this is what we're seeing the beginning of. You think those big ass crowds of people are gonna remain peaceful? You think you get this many, and then you got these provocateurs out there that are trying to excite violence amongst the people so they can have a reason to come down with the hammer. And the people gonna fall for that shit. Something is gonna happen to cause this that's gonna set this thing off. Okay? And it says, verse 16, it says, "For there should be sedition among men." Now we go into this word sedition all of the time. And this word sedition means rebellion against government. Okay? And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the beginning stages of rebellion against the government. All these prophecies are coming to pass and happening all at the same time. Because at the same time we're seeing these uproars, what else are we seeing? We're seeing the chip being pushed all across the world. Digital ID. And we're about to get this video from the Kenyan president saying, hey, and by October, and what does that coincide with? That coincides with Trump's plan to have the stable coin and full ramped up at full force by October as well. Okay, so you're seeing all of these systems line up, and as these systems are lining up, you're seeing the world becoming more and more in the uproar, as the scriptures say in Matthew 24. Okay, or the wars and rumors of wars and the earthquakes and all those good things, as it says, as those things it says in Matthew 24 and 2 Ezra 9. Okay, so it says, verse 16 again, "For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Okay, we are now the law. Okay, you were the law, but we are the law. We don't agree with what you're talking about. Okay, and it says, verse 7, "A man shall desire to go into a city and should not be able. The roads are going to be blocked off, and you're not going to be able to travel to certain places." These things are going to come into effect because these states, the states are already about to start battling with one another. Because just in case you didn't know, a state is a country. Okay, they call it a state, but a state is actually a country. So you can replace the state of Georgia with the country of Georgia. You can replace the state of Michigan with the country of Michigan. Okay, all of those things can be replaced with country. Okay. So you're not going to be able to go into these different places anymore, all right? Because these states are going to be warring with one another as well, all right? Continuing on, it says, "For a man should desire to go into the city and should not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, and their houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And man shall have no pity on his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation." These people are about to get starved out. Okay? They're about to get starved out. The food supply, their bank accounts, all that shit about to get shut down. They're about to try their best to shut down any type of sedition, any type of rebellion against them. All right? And they're going to be cruel. That's why the scriptures talk about how he's going to come down with great wrath. All right? So I got another video I'm about to play. There it is.
Before your baby leaves the hospital, you no longer get a paper birth certificate, but then you get a digital one that is somehow implanted somewhere on somebody's body. Think about that. But have a listen to this.
The digital ID, which has been a big problem to us for a very long time, is now on a testing mode for the next 2 months. I have been assured by all the stakeholders, led by the ministries concerned, that by December we will be able to launch digital ID, where every Kenyan don't have to carry any paper, plastic or otherwise as an ID. They should be able to be identified digitally.
We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms.
All right, so you hear that, right? he said that, hey, by December, right, he's gonna have by December he's gonna have a digital ID that everybody's gonna have under their skin. Okay, so there you go.
Just put it blatantly to you. The program targets the birth of new babies. So once you have your baby, before your baby leaves the hospital, you no longer get a paper birth certificate, but then you get a digital one that is somehow implanted somewhere on somebody's body. Think about that. But have a listen to this.
The digital ID, which has been a big problem to us for a very long time, is now on a testing mode for the next 2 months. I have been assured by all the stakeholders, led by the ministries concerned, that by December we will be able to launch digital ID, where every Kenyan don't have to carry any paper, plastic or otherwise as an ID. They should be able to be identified digitally.
We're taking things that are genetic.
All right, so again, you see that the digital ID in Kenya, they're revving it up full force. Okay. For 1 second.
Modified organisms.
It only lets me get out of.
All right, so as you can see, bringing everything back full circle, the closer that we get to the full implementation throughout the whole entire world of the digital ID, the RFID chip, the more and more of these uproars and these things are happening in the world. Now, if we go to the search bar and we search U.S. stablecoin, right?
People have no idea what's coming. The United States just passing the stablecoin bill seems like a good thing for crypto and what's coming. But guys, don't you see what's happening? They're issuing stablecoins and they won't need CBDCs. So who cares if the CBDC law isn't passed? Because
Okay, so a stablecoin is a CBDC. That's something that, these stupid Americans don't understand. Is the language that's being used. A CBDC is a centralized digital bank currency, right? And if the government controls the issuance of currency, that means it is a damn CBDC. Okay, so I just wanted to give you that caveat.
Stablecoins are going to replace CBDCs. Think about it. When this is passed, every bank is going to be required to make their own stablecoin. Why? Because that's how they're going to transfer your money from fiat to digital dollars. And most people will have no idea what's going on. They're going to check their app, their balance is going to be the same, but what they're not going to realize is that it's not fiat anymore, it's digital currency. The BIS already laid this all out in a paper that they put out in 2023 called the Unified Ledger, where all money, all assets, and all identities will be shared on a programmable infrastructure. A full ISO 20022 compliance by 2025. We want every major bank to be ready for tokenization, settlement, and interoperability. And we're walking right into the trap. They'll say,
You're not walking into the trap. This is the Lord's doing. The Lord set this up, okay, for his purpose and for his end. And all this is going to do is usher in prophecy, okay? It's ushering in prophecy. So as we get closer to these digital IDs that are being, remember what Trump said, and I'll just put that on there. I think this is
the video you've all been waiting for. Everybody wants a price prediction for XRP, so here we go.
That's not what I want.
Realistically, we know.
To be able to actually launch a digital stablecoin, ours is called USD1, backed one-to-one by the U.S. Treasury, and get massive adoption around the world, that just kind of buoys up the U.S. dollar. The strength of the U.S. dollar puts so many people from around the world in the U.S. dollar.
Now, this bill is for all stablecoins in the United States, backed by the U.S. dollar.
So to be able to actually launch it.
All right, so, basically, I don't think I can find it. For the sake of time, I'm not going to look for it. But you can see that the stablecoin is going to be accepted worldwide. It's going to link with the Beast system. So with that being said, let's go ahead and finish this out. You know, we're about to go to Revelation 13. All right, because when it goes into, he's going to create a system where you have no choice but to use it. All of this infrastructure, all of these buildings, these roads, all of this stuff that this devil built, all of the stuff that he's limited, the fruit, the water, and to where he took control of it. He took control of these things systematically throughout the years for the purpose of forcing you to accept his mark. Okay? All right, so let's scroll on down to verse 16. And it says, and he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or foreheads. Now remember when, as I just mentioned, he built this whole entire system. So you have to go to the grocery store. You got to pay him for electricity. You have to pay him for water. He control all of the clothing purveyors and all of these different systems, right? So then in the end, you'll be forced to go to him in order to get his mark to participate in this system. All right, and that's what we're seeing right now. So now that they have everything in place, they can force you to accept his mark, to accept his chip in order to participate. So when it goes into that word cause, it actually means to make, to force. All right, so this guy is forcing us. He's going to force the people, not us, but he's going to force the people to take this mark. Okay. And what's going to be one of those things that's going to cause people to be forced to accept the mark? The lack of participation in this society, right? And it says, and that no man might buy or sell. That means all of your, when you say buy or sell, if you need to buy something, that means somebody's selling something, right? If you need to sell something, that means somebody's buying something. There is no bartering without a medium of exchange. And that medium of exchange is going to be that stable coin. So if you want to buy gas, you want to pay your rent, you want to buy food, you're going to need that coin in order to do that, right? That is total control. All right. And you just heard how in Kenya, they're going to be implanting babies with this shit. And he said our stakeholders, which is basically going into shareholders, right? So they want to own everybody as property. They don't want to allow the system to fail, right? They don't want to allow the system to slip from up under their feet. They want to try to get everybody chipped so that they can remain in power perpetually forever. They want their birthright, or they want that birthright, which is, it was never yours to begin with, right? And it says that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 603 which is chai size stigma, the actual instrument to pierce the skin, the actual chip itself, which is the stigma, and then the system, the beast system that supports it all. Okay, so that's where we are right now, and everything is showing that we're there. So with that, I'm going to end it off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Till the next time, I say Shalom.